Welcome back everybody to Tier 4. The championship may have been decided, but we still got some scraps left in the championship between a few drivers such as Baza, Panda, Sofian and Lozana Zera. 30 points in offer for the win as well, so if you think about it, quite close between those guys. Lozana Zera is only 3 points away and Panda is not here tonight and Lozana Zera is, so she could move up to P3. And we are here for the Brazilian Grand Prix at Sao Paulo, one of the most popular races ever. Fantastic track, brilliant venue, used to be the last race of the season, also had championship decided. And today, alongside me, is the man who lost his fight a few days ago, KXI.
Yeah, good to be back, mate, and what an L. Not quite, but yeah, so championship's done, so I hear, and yeah, all to play for still for P2, P3. Lots going on, and I love this track, mate. Brazil's definitely one of my favourites.
It's one of my favourites too, indeed. I'm not raced around this track yet on this game, surprisingly. I'm not really active on this game like I was like years ago when I used to be on the game all the time, and Brazil was the one I loved as well. I've also had decent results around here. I don't know what it is about this track, I just seem to love it, and that middle sector especially as well. But the first corners for the 1, 2, 3, very important to hook up as well, because that can make or break your light. It's such difficult corners as well to get right. You've got to hit the curbs on the apex as well. Then that run all the way down to Resta Potra to the Cida de Largo as well. That's amazing. Those two double right-handers of Ferradora at turn 6 and turn 7 are very important corners too. And we've got Palmer then, out of Junsao, on the main straight with DRS. Well, let's see how he does on his first lap then. So, approaching turn 1, braking at the 50-metre board, bringing the car in, hitting the apex on the first corner, and take a lot of curve as well in turn 2 and turn 3. Minimise the distance if you can, just stay as left as you possibly can, until you have to open it up with DRS, of course, on the straight as we head down into turn number 4, famously with Verstappen and Hamilton back in 2021 when they went side by side through there, and now coming out into turn 5 we go. Flat out all the way up the hill then towards the Cida de Largo. That's Ferradora, sorry, into this double right hander we go, takes you through 5th. Some people does take us through 6th as well, I believe. There's a Red Bull in the way who just spun, and you can see Palmer there. Bit of wheel spin on the exit in these slow speed corners, very important to maintain momentum through here, carry the speed too as we make our way through the left-hander. Now into the left-hander we go downhill, and let's see what lap time we can do in this middle sector. 51.5 as we enter Junsao then. Get on the get on the throttle, sorry. It can be quite easy to lose it, especially if you take too much curb on the entry on that corner into Junsao. DRS enabled for Palmer as he makes his way towards the line. No pressure for him tonight. Championship's done and dusted anyway. At 8.4 on his first lap.
Yeah, good solid banker there from Palmer. He's just here for a bit of fun tonight, but he's still going to be motivated as ever to win the race, I would imagine. But yeah, tricky track in some of the traction zones. A couple of low speed corners, but generally it's a high speed flowing circuit with a very long back straight from the beginning of the final sector all the way to the finish line. It's basically like one long corner, isn't it? So yeah, lots of overtaking opportunities around here.
Yeah, weather can play a massive factor as well, and with few people invalidated on their laps. We saw a Red Bull on their out lap, I think, who made a mistake coming out of turn 6 and 7, just dropped it at the exit of the hill. It was a Red Bull, and there's only one Red Bull here tonight, so it was definitely Jay Hart now, unfortunately for him, who had a decent result a few races ago, if I remember correctly. Scored on the podium. He actually had a win at the Austrian Grand Prix, if I remember correctly, last season, but I think he's been close to a podium. I'm not quite sure if he actually scored one or not this season, because he was super close at one stage, so I need to check the race results back to see if that's true or not, but I think he's definitely been up there in the top 4 in some races. But yeah, he's not really had the best seasons this season, has Jay Hart. Now highest finishing position I think is 6th place. He's done that twice as Jay Hart now, so I do remember him momentarily getting on the podium in a race, but I'm not quite sure which one it was. So let's see what he could do here tonight. He's on his first lap. It's going to be a 9.7, puts him into P4, and let's see what happens later on in the session, if he can improve or not. So judging what I'm seeing so far, he hasn't scored a podium yet as Jay Hart now, but that Roland, who was at the back of the field majority in the championship, actually scored P3 at the last race in Imola, so that's a massive booster for Dat Roland, because I think he was close one time in Brazil or Miami, but yeah, there was incidents, or he was on older tyres, so, and the Spanish Grand Prix as well, so he was quite close on both occasions. I remember him and Lozana Zera were quite close to a podium at the Spanish Grand Prix, and I think that Roland just got it snatched away from him at the very end.
Yeah, that's great for Dat Rollins. He's getting on the podium recently. That's, yeah, as you say, a big booster for him, and it's always a nice feeling. It keeps you motivated in the late stages of a season like this when you got not a lot to play for, but just getting high results. That's always a nice feeling. But yeah, going back to Jay Hartnell, he's a driver that's always around, always committed, always with a bit of pace, but this season it just hasn't quite clicked. I've seen a couple of things where he's just had a bit of bad luck with a couple of drive-throughs, a couple of spins, a couple of crashes, and yeah, he'll be hoping to put that right for the final race of the season, I think.
Yeah, the podium in the last race would definitely help his motivation too. Lozano Zera goes P2, but the difference between herself and Palmer is about 5 tenths. If I remember correctly, in Imola, Palmer took pole, Lozano was in P2. I think they were both in the 14s, while the rest of them were in the 15s, and they were well clear of P3 downwards. But this time, Palmer looks like he's got a big gap, and obviously continuing that good momentum from winning the championship. And Ruben's in the wall coming out, where is that? Turn number 8, is that? No, it's not. Turn number, where is it? I haven't even studied the corners either, so it's turn 11. Yeah, turn 11 where he's dropped it.
11, yeah, I couldn't tell you either, but yeah, looking at Palmer there, he's really in a league of his own at the moment. It's a 5 tenth gap, and it's a short lap round here, Jamie, and it's a quick track as well, so 5 tenths is a massive, massive margin. I remember being in CRL before, and 1 to 15 was separated by like 3 tenths, and I got knocked out in Q1. That was when we did full qualifying, of course, but yeah, that's a big gap.
Oh yeah, 2021 when we were playing on the 2021 game, doing full qualifying. That was amazing because the gap from like first to 18th was like 3 or 4 tenths in tier 1. Obviously I did tier 1. That was the only tier I did until I did tier 4 to help these guys out as they didn't have a commentator. And watching the gaps, if you went 2 tenths quicker than your personal best on your lap, you boost up the order dramatically as well. So it was very important Q1 and Q2 and Q3, but now we have short qualifying because I don't think there's no point. Oh, Sophia in there going wide, but still, oh, he slided through the corner of Judd Sao, and he picked up dirt on the way too into the corner, and the car was unsettled then. So he saved it without a validation, but dropped it ultimately at Judd Sao corner, and that's his lap time done and dusted then. So almost saved it, but a bit too wide. Surprisingly to validate, but he's staying out there by the way. So I'm not quite sure what his next game plan is. If he's got more fuel in the car, maybe he's going for another run, maybe a slow down lap and another push lap for him. So let's see how he does. But Bazza Fox has invalidated his first lap, so that's him on the back foot already. We've got Palmer up the hill at the exit of Ferradura coming into turn 8, a bit wide there. You can see him carrying lots of oversteer as well for good measure. So beat deep into the corner, compromised his next entry, and let's see how much time has cost him then on his personal best as he's fighting for pole by himself as we make our way into this left-hander. Let's see how much time he's lost in this middle sector. 1/10. So I thought he lost more, but actually 1/10 down isn't too bad. But can he gain it back in his last sector? I'm not quite sure. But plenty of time to be found for Palmer, considering his first lap time was at the beginning of qualifying. Obviously track evolution and self-improvement as well as you get more confident with the track. So he's back in the pit lane knowing he can't improve. Bazza Fox headed towards the line, even though he's invalidated 14.0. So what's Bazza Fox's play? He's going for another lap on the same tyres, and he's quite low on ERS as well, so he's going for another run on the same set of soft compound tyres. He validated early doors, so I would have thought it's quite hard to save ERS, around here due to the short track, and yeah, not many places you can save ERS either. 27.1, 17.1 in the first set it says. I couldn't quite tell due to the viewer count, but yeah, Warrior Huntsman and Bazza Fox, the only two yet to set a lap time.
Yeah, so Bazza Fox, Warrior Huntsman, they'll be looking to get times on the board. And yeah, as you say there, this track, it's so fast, it's so powerful. You're at full throttle for a majority of the lap as well. So yeah, it's hard to say ERS, as you say. It's really about kind of getting into the ERS train and being smart with your overtakes, because you can't really break that 1 second gap either. You have to really have a lot of pace advantage to break away here.
Yeah, but given the beginning of the Imola Grand Prix, Jay Hartler going 3 tenths quick in the first set to his previous best, so he keeps this up, might find himself in P4, depending if he can find more time in this last sector. But during Imola, Lozano Zera started on the mediums and Palmer was on the hards. That turned out to be the best strategy for Lozano, or for those on the mediums, because it started raining towards lap 15-16, so those mediums were able to go on the inters and the rest of them on inters too. So they didn't have to do the mediums to hards to medium strategy. Obviously, a safety car came out and took the advantages away, and also staying out 1 lap later definitely cost her too, because Palmer gave 5 seconds a lap, well 5 seconds on 1 lap, as Jay Hartnell goes 5 tenths quicker in this middle sector. But yeah, I wonder how the strategy will play out this time if Lozano starts on the hards, because I know she likes to go on the medium compound tyres I've seen in the last few races at the start of the Grand Prix, so mediums is the way to go for her. It definitely helped her as Jay Hartnell goes P5. Definitely helped her back up Imola with that pace advantage at the start of the race, pulling the gap towards Palmer before they had to go on the inters. But we'll see how it plays out this time if it's a dry race. We know we've got a lot of safety cars in the last few races as well, so we can't quite dictate what the better strategy was during those races. But Lozano Zero is going for another lap time, heading into 1. Through turn 2 she goes now, takes a lot of curve on the entry, very nicely indeed. Through turn 3 we go. Turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3 looks very tidy, so that's what you want at the start of a lap time. It's very easy to make a mistake through there. Going into turn number 4 now, braking at the 100 metre board. She's almost a tenth up in the first sector, carrying good speed through Retroposta, and now we're coming up towards Ferradura. Into this right-hander we go. Not quite recovered yet, Nathan, because I don't think you know, I didn't have enough sleep during the weekend, so I slept quite a lot today. I woke up at 12, which is not normal for me, because I always wake up early in the morning, so I am quite rough to be honest, but I hopefully will recover. And now we're coming through turn number 13, this is where we saw Ruben Spun. He's currently out there on his flying lap, so both, oh, I thought I saw an Aston Martin off the track. That's getting out of the way. I thought it was Lozano Zero who went off the track, because I went off board and I saw someone go off the track, which was an Aston Martin, so I think it was Sophia or punishment getting out of the way for her. So Lozano Zero in the middle sector is a few tenths up. Let's see if she can close the margin towards Palmer as she makes her way towards the line now. What's it going to be? Oh, it's pole! It's an 8.3! Wow, I wasn't expecting that one from Lozano Zero, but she's taking pole away by a tenth, and Palmer has invalidated his second lap then. So the game is on between the two.
Yeah, that's a great lap. It's just about a full tenth in front of Palmer. We know Palmer's got a bit more pace in the middle sector to find, but yeah, really showing some strong pace there is Lozano Zero. And yeah, that Aston Martin girl off the track, that was Sophia, and I really like to see Sophia and get a race win. I don't think he's had one this season, has he not?
I think he's had one at the Canadian Grand Prix, fighting against Bazza Fox. Ooh, Cammy gets all out of shape, but he's on his out lap anyway, or his in lap. Maybe on his, I don't know, because he says he's not on an out lap, but he's not on a flying lap either, so it must have been on a push, cool down lap and push again. In fact, I think he's going in the pit lane because braking and accelerating around there. Is he going to start his lap time now? He can't do, because you've got to start your lap time at the exit of John Sauer to gain all that time. He's in the pit lane anyway.
He's not in the pit lane. He's carried on. Not sure what Cammy's doing here, but yeah, maybe he's trying to save his set. He just seems to be letting some drivers through, perhaps. But yeah, all fun and games. Where is Cammy? P4 at the moment. He's done a 9. He's done a 9.0. So yeah, he's on the pace as well. Interesting to see what he can find from this race.
Bazza Fox then, the only driver hasn't set a lap time, and Craigo, I don't think it's representative for his standards. So Bazza Fox then coming towards the finish line to start his first flying lap. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. He's invalidated twice, headed into turn 1 now. You can see the car not really responding that well. Bit of movement on the rear end. Into 3 we go then. So it doesn't look like the rear end of the car is sticking for his liking. And now we're coming onto the rest of Potter Straight, heading into Descida del Lago. We see plenty of overtakes into turn number 4 and turn number 1 as well. Depends how it all unfolds with each drivers. But as we make our way then into Ferradura, into this very fast right-hander indeed. I'm not quite sure if you take it flat out to the first part and slow it down into the second part. I think it's a slight dab on the brake into the first part, but you can see massive wheel spin as he gets out of the exit. They're trying to carry the speed through the corners, the minimum required speeds to the mid-speed corners. Now we're coming into the corner where Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton made contest as Hamilton saw a gap, went down the inside, wiped Albon out, and that was his podium of chances gone. And Pierre Gasly got P2. Into this corner, John Sauer, we saw, I think it was Hamilton on Glock. Yeah, of course it was. Hamilton on Glock with the famous quote, is that Glock going slowly on those dry compound tyres against other people? Or is it wets against dries? I can't quite remember now. But here we are, Bazza Fox making his way towards the line. It's P3, so good improvement there from Bazza to get his first lap time on the board with a P3.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craigo on his final lap as well. He's half second up out the final corner. And He doesn't improve. Well, he does improve. Only in 9.4. Still at the back there, Craig. I think he's yeah. We know Craig can go a lot faster than this. So interesting to see what he's up to at the moment.
And Eisen in the middle sector goes 2 tenths quicker on his previous best then, so might promote him into P8 unless he can find more time in this last sector, which is only one corner, and the rest of it's flat out. And here we are then on board with the Ferrari driver. Let's see what lap time is this going to be. P4, that's a massive boost then. So on his previous lap, he must have made a mistake with that judge out, or just didn't take the corner properly, or whatever. But whatever he's done, he's found a lot more time and puts his car into P4 then. So great lap time there from the Ferrari driver, as his teammate put it in the wall, but still got a lap time on the board. Crucial for him as well, because that could have been easily been a tyre loss, but luckily impact wasn't severe. Otherwise, we're out of qualifying then. So let's see how much time's left on the board. Palmer is currently out there trying to let's see, start his last flying lap potentially, depends how much time there is on the board. But nevertheless, he's on his flying lap, coming through Ferradura. Now into turn 7 we go, into a slow speed corner, very easy to go out wide through here. This time he hooks it up, because last time he went very wide, compromised his entry into the next one, carrying the throttle, picking up the speed as well, as we take out. It's a bit of a weird line going through there, but it makes it work. However, you want to take a wider line to get a good exit. A slingshot exit, make our way downhill into this corner, 51.4, a few hundreds up in the middle sector as Palmer tries to fight for pole, but I don't think that's enough in the middle sector unless he can find a bit more time in the last sector, just a few margins between them. Now Palmer makes his way towards the line. Can he take back pole from Palmer as he makes his way towards the line? Yeah, he can, with an 8.2 ahead of Lozano Zera then, so takes pole away and found more time in that last sector.
Yeah, great lap, improves by another 10th on Lozano Zera. She's on her outlap at the moment, so she'll be looking to improve on that as well. So this is going to be tight. I think it's going to be a bit of a two-horse race at the moment, though, Jamie. Only 12 drivers on the grid at the moment, but yeah, it's going to be a close one for Paul, I think.
By the way, 15 people, 16 people watching, including me and probably UK. So I want to say massive thank you to all the people watching. Even if there's 12 cars on the circuit, 14 people watching, that's incredible to see all the people in here. And Lozano Zera going for another flying lap as we head into turn number 1 then for the Spanish driver. Takes it very nicely as well. Into turn 2 we go, and turn 3. Last time out looking for redemption from Imola. Arguably she should have won, or P2 depending how good she was in the wet against Harry Palmer. And a few hundreds down the first sector, so lost a bit of time there, has Lozano Zera. This will be a final lap, by the way. 30 seconds left to go on the clock then, so it looked like a decent first 2-3 corners, but must have done it better into on our last lap as we come through Ferradura. Now into turn where we go, slow speed corner. We're going to get it all slowed down. I think Eisen's moved up into P5. Somebody's just crossed the line there. Not quite sure who it was. Polishman into P4. Dat Roland into P5 as the ball sorts themselves out. So here comes Lozano then, coming out in slow speed corners, downhill into turn 12 we go. Now into John Sao. Let's see, 1/10 down in this middle sector, so I don't think it's enough for Lozano unless she can find a monumental amount of time in this last sector, but I don't think that's the case then, so she might have to settle for P2 like it was at the Imola Grand Prix as she heads into pit lane because she knows she can't improve then. So that's it. Palmer on pole ahead of Lozano, unless anybody can snatch it away. Dat Roland, I think he's on a lap time, not quite sure. Sofina P9. And let's see if we can improve the Frenchman in the Aston Martin. Ruben in the middle sector, 1/10 up, but he's 1.1 seconds away, so he'll be looking to get inside the top 10 currently in P11. Craig as well in P12. I think an Aston Martin's crashed out of Sofian.
Yeah, I see those yellows in middle sector. That's unfortunate for Sophia. That will put him at the back of the grid, I think, with the crash at this grid. Yeah.
That Roland's coming towards the line now, but he's not going to improve. He stays in P5, but nevertheless. Sorry about that. I muted my mic because I had a coughing fit there. So, yeah, apologies about that.
Good.
I don't want to hear any of you. I don't want any of you to hear my coughing.
How polite of you, mate.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not
Well,
fair.
that concludes our qualifying.
It's not fair for any of you listening to my coughing. So if I do cough, if I do mute my mic throughout the stream, it means I'm coughing or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Palmer on pole once again. That confirms his ambition to win the final race of the season as well.
Yeah, be lucky to try and go his final win. He was going to say he was going to do last to first, but I think he's changed his mind. Bear in mind, last is only P12, so and look at the gaps. And ideally, with those gaps, it should be easy. Obviously, no offense to any of these drivers, but obviously with the gaps in front of us, you could definitely tell that he's got a lot of pace here tonight. And the only person who can challenge him is Lozano Zera. But what can the rest do with their race pace? Baza Fox, by the way, into P3. Look at the gap between P3 and P5. Not much in it, about 600 between those three. So it might be close for the podium fight once again, like it was last race. And last race, I was at the Imola Grand Prix, and it was Sofian and that Ronan finished in P2 and P3. I saw Sofian, by the way, drop down dramatically on the intermediates, and he found himself in P2 towards the end. So there must have been loads of post-race penalties going on, because I remember Polishman scoring a podium, and post-race penalties must have applied, and it changed dramatically as well. So I don't remember seeing him on the podium. I remember him dropping down the order, but must have came back through the field to get that podium, or must have been a post-race penalty podium too. So podium's a podium nevertheless, and he's trying to boost himself up the order in the championship, which is P2's on the cards, I think.
Yeah, and fair play to him as well. I think at this stage of the season, where championship's wrapped up, and you're fighting for maybe the Constructors' Championship, but yeah, at this stage you're just looking at your best race result possible and just having some fun out there as well.
Yeah, indeed. I remember Sofian at the safety car restart, the last safety car restart, dropped dramatically into last place, then found some pace on the inters because it eased off the rain, and the rest of them were wets and some of them were on the inters, and people in the inters managed to claw some time back. He actually finished P5 on the track, if I'm looking back right now, but penalties kicked in because there's a lot of penalties at Imola. Finished P4 on the track, it says, then got himself into P2. So that Roland finished in P2 as well. He left the session as well, I remember that correctly. So P2 on the track, but P3 overall, as Sofian finished in P2 at the Imola Grand Prix. So in the championship, where is Dat Roland? He's P16, so that podium definitely helped him, because I remember him being quite far back in the championship, and thankfully he's got some momentum going, and currently P16 in the championship with 36 points. I know he's quite low in the championship, but still, there's a few cars in striking distance, such as Verona Flash, who's not here, Chooks is not here, Chunders is not here, Ross as well, and 30 points for a win. If he does win, he could find himself in P10, because the rest of them are here. From P16 to P10, that's a massive boost. That's if he can win though. But no formation lap, and here we are then for the lights here at Sao Paulo. Away we go then. Let's see who gets a better start off the line. They're both on the medium compound tyres, the top two. Even start. But will Lozano try and go down the inside? Into turn one we go. No, she can't. But Baza Fox gets a decent run on her. Might go down the inside. A bit squeezed there. Can't make the move. And he stays in P3 for the time being then. So Palmer leads ahead of Lozano. Lozano looks like she's a bit cautious going into 1 and 2. Trying not to make any contact. But however, the top two remain as they are then. They're both on the mid. Oh, there's contact! Baza hits the back of Lozano. And Lozano's in a spin. She falls all the way back to the field then, having bad luck in these past few races then, unfortunately for her. We've got an Aston Martin going side by side. Into Ferradori we go, ahead of Dat Ronan. Dat Ronan off the track and trying to stick around the outside now. Have the inside line to the next corner, but Sofian has track position. No, he doesn't, because he's just gone out wide through turn number 8 there. And now Dat Ronan's coming back as we head into this right-hander we go. They're still side by side. You can see there Sofian has to capitalise on these soft compound tyres. Not able to make the move though, because Dat Ronan's back on him as they keep exchanging positions on this first lap. But Palmer has a 2.3 second gap. What a lovely start for him.
Yeah, with that spin for Lozano Serra, not her fault of course, that is going to put Palmer way out in front, and our biggest losers so far is Lozano Serra and Eisen, who also had some contact at turn 1 and fell to the back of the grid.
Late braking from Sofian, who tapped his teammate, because Sofian overtook that Roland, and he almost took out his teammate for good measure. So both Aston Martins almost colliding, but Sofian, on 2 steps off the strategy with the soft compound tyres, has overtaken the hard runner as you expect. So he's up into P2. The gap's 3.5 already between Palmer and Sofian then, as the battle for P2 is on. We've got a few people pitting. Baza, Ruben and Craigo. In the background I can see a Mercedes off the track and almost made contact when he came back. Both Aston Martins still fighting. Sofian goes deep again. Now he's lost 2 places. So instead of going forwards on these softs, he's going backwards now on those soft compound tyres. So needs to have momentum early on in this race and needs to capitalise on those soft compound tyres, because the rest of them on the mediums or hards.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this gap from Palmer to Pershman now. It's almost at 5 seconds after 2 laps. That's insane. gap that he's pulled. But yeah, Sofian on the he's the first of the soft compound tyre, and he looks like he's struggling with grip. Actually, he's been lighting up the rears on the previous lap, and he's already burned through a lot of his energy system. So yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with him. Maybe it's a setup issue.
Maybe his tyres overheated as well. Has he changed the tyre pressures, or is he overheats them too much? Because we see him definitely go wide through corners and definitely won't do the front end any favours whatsoever. The soft compound tyres is not an easy tyre, by the way, to cool down either, as Polishman and Dat Roland scrapping away for P2, and Dat Roland looking for another podium, probably consecutively as well, after scoring one at the Imola Grand Prix. He's currently in P2, so these hollow points will definitely do him big favours there in the championship, promotion from P16 potentially up to P11 if he stays where he is right now. Polishman got all squirrely cut out of turn number 8, and he's gone out wide through turn number 9 as well, so it definitely cost him. Whether he got the grass or not on the entry, I'm not quite sure, but losing the rear end is such a easy place to lose the rear end in these slow speed corners, trying to break traction immediately as soon as you get on the power. And you can see Jay Hart now looking up the inside of Sophia, and they're not able to make any moves. In the background I can see a Mercedes off the track now being made contact. That's Cammy, who I don't think he tries to go up the inside. I think he tried to avoid him, but unfortunately outbroke himself and tagged the rear of the Red Bull. He falls into P9. Also another driver on the soft compound tyres too.
Yeah, absolutely. The softs don't seem to be working at this stage in the race. I think it's just yeah, I think it's a too fast and too high pressure for the softs at the moment. But yeah, because Sofian's really struggling out there for grip as he's chasing down his teammate Polishman. He's dropped out of DRS to Dat Roland in P2, so we think that we could be seeing some position swaps now that DRS has been enabled.
And we can see Warrior Huntsman side by side with Lizana Zera. Lizana Zera cleared him, and now she's up into P6 on those medium compound tyres. So luckily hasn't sustained any damage during that first lap. Hopefully no body damage either. It was a slight tap of the rear end, but it was enough to merit a spin. And drops to the back of the field, but she's up into P6 then is Lizana, benefited from 3 people pitting, and that's Baza and Craigo. And I think Baza and Lizana have actually fighting for P3 in the championship. They are, but there's about yeah, the gap's quite big between them. 28 points, and you need 34 wins. So Baza Fox has actually got P2. Should be secured. Depends where he finishes towards the end of the race. If Lizana wins this and Baza Fox is where P12 or something like that, then Lizana Zero will overtake him. But Lizana can definitely finish P3 in the championship because King Panda is not here, and the gap between her and him is 3 points. So all Lizana needs to do is finishing the points, and she'll finish ahead of King Panda in the championship. Both Aston Martin swapping again. That's Polishman and Sofian then. And let's see if Sofian can use these soft compound tyres to his advantage then and try and pull away. He needs to break away from the rest of the field and also overtake Dat Roland. Dat Roland has actually got a 2-second gap over the Aston Martin drivers then. So ever since he overtook Polishman, disposed of him, got rid of him, and pulled a big gap as well over the rest, which is very important as well for his strategy.
Yeah, it certainly is, Jamie. I think Sofian's starting to understand the car a bit more. The first 5 laps of this race, but it's not going to be easy. I think he's used half of his battery, and it's similar for Polishman. I think the Aston Martin boys going to have a scrap to the end of the race here. It's going to be a fun one to watch, I think.
It is indeed, but I expect Sofian to be in about lap 9-10. Depends how long those soft compound tyres can go for. And as you can see, Polishman is right behind him in the DRS. You don't want to wait behind him, obviously, because there's a Red Bull in the background ready to pounce. So Polishman will make his move. Well, these two constantly trade DRS, try and keep the Red Bull behind. But here comes the Red Bull of Jay Hart now. I think both Aston Martins were close to touching, as Sofian was so close to the back of hitting his teammate there. But luckily, not enough to cause any spins or contact as Jay Hart now tried to force a move. I think Sofian responded to that, outbroke himself I think, but still kept himself in P4 ahead of the Red Bull, and just behind the pair is Lizana Zera too, so still in contention for a podium despite that spin, and trying to claw away back through the field. She had great pace and quality. Can she keep it up for the race too?
Yeah, absolutely, fair play. She's caught up already. It was, I think with the field spreads, it's not going quite so high with only 12 drivers, so it's still pretty impressive to catch up, but there's not a lot of cars to pass at the moment. But I think with Polishman and Sofian, they could be playing a team game here and just trading positions with the DRS to keep the Red Bull of Jay Hartnell behind. So that'll definitely work very well for Sofian with his old compounds, with his old soft tyres.
It will indeed, so Jay Hartnell will have to try and find a way past the two, but Sofian on his old soft compound tires. Here comes Lizana Zera on Jay Hart now then. So he's actually, Lizana Zera going to put a move on the Aston Martin. So now she's into P5. She's got both Aston Martins to dispose. But can she do that though? Because, like you said, in fact, Sofian gets a poor exit. Here comes Lizana Zera out of 3. Goes very wide out of 3 as well. So might have picked up some marbles and not good for the tyres whatsoever. As you can see, Sofian has DRS on the Alpine. And she couldn't make the move, but I think she went out too wide at turn number 3, understeered, and couldn't make the move. But Sofian, there, hard to mark moment because he almost lost the place certainly towards Lizana, the Spanish driver, who's trying to get in between both Aston Martins, as both Aston Martins will be using the DRS off each other, like you said, and changing places when they can. So that's what both Aston Martins have to do to work with each other. But Sofian's tyre is getting older. He's actually 1 second out of DRS then, so this might cost him on the straight.
Yeah, it might do indeed, but not only did Lizana Zera run out on the marbles there, she also had less than 10% energy, so she was clipping towards the end of the straight, which is why we saw Sofian pulling away mid to end of the corner.
And look at this, Lizana is benefiting from Sofian's mistake of Judd Sao. Judd Sao, he went out very wide, and here comes Lizana, easy with the DRS, and nothing Sofian can respond with, and also might lose a place towards the Red Bull. Lizana's going defensive because she knows the Red Bull's coming at her at a rate of knots. Into 1 we go. Jay Hartler's going to go down the inside of Lizana if he can. But Lizana defends, but can she defend into turn 4 because she got no DRS? There's 2 detection points for the both DRS zones, so you get DRS each time but you're behind somebody. Here comes Sofian with a straight line speed, taking on the Alpine 2, back up into P4, or is it? Because Lizana Zera is still there on the outside. It's going wheel to wheel once again then, so tries to take 2 for 1, but Lizana Zera is still there, and he gets back up into P4. Or does he? Because you can see Lizana Zera has better grip than the Aston Martin driver. That straight line speed was incredible. You can see there Lizana tries to force one to the inside of Sofian. Now the Red Bull might be coming back at her. Lizana trying to go around the outside, not enough space there. Got to watch out for Jay Hartnell too because he's also there. Into what? Turn number 11 now. Lizana Zera goes down the inside ahead of Lizana Zera, ahead of Sofian, sorry.
And welcome to the party, Warrior Huntsman. All this battling as well is let the Williams driver in as well. But jeez, did you see that? Sofian has got a rocket ship in the back of that car.
Yeah, he took 2 for 1 on the Retroposter straight. That is incredible. So definitely tell he's got some straight line speed, even though he's low on battery. And now you can see gain and gain and gain on Lizana. And here we are into turn number 1 then. So it's gonna be a massive problem for if anybody's in his DRS. There's contact into turn 1, now turn 2. Lizana Zera's all over the place, she's offline. Here comes Jay Hart now, and here comes Warrior Husband too. So Lizana Zera will actually go backwards now. They've got DRS. You can see the Red Bull in the middle there. Which one is going to yield? 3 to 1 doesn't really work out. And luckily they sort themselves out. A bit of contact between the Red Bull and the Alpine. Lizana is off the track, so she's lost another place. She's back into P7. She was on the move a few laps ago, and now she's dropping back where she was into P7.
Yeah, just a little bit argy-bargy from the Red Bull and the Aston Martin there at turns 1 and turns 4, but all fair from what I can see at our end, Jamie, and nothing to complain about at the moment. But yeah, at least we're having a good fun, a good scrap as Palmer extends his lead now to 7.3 seconds. This race is done for him, so it's a bit like real life with the Red Bulls at the moment.
We've got Mercedes and Cammy's gone for a spin at turn before the exit of Retroposter straight. But here we are then, another round between Jay Hartnell and Sofian. Obviously Sofian's got the right to defend, but he's caused a lot of problems for these guys because these guys have got better tyres than him. But he's got the straight line speed. Look at that, Jay Hartnell with DRS, can't even get past as we head into turn number 1 then. Bit of counter, I was so close to swiping him, but luckily he didn't. And here we are into turn 2 and turn number 3 then. Lizana might overtake Warrior Husband, have a bit of a moment coming out of turn number 3. Look at Sofian with the straight line speed he has in the Aston Martin, so definitely going for a low downforce setup and just swoops past him. It's going to be a major problem. He's doing his teammate a massive favour because the gap is 5 seconds between the Polishman and Sofian. So with all that help and all that defending, is really helping his teammates. So good team play there. And Sofian on all the tyres, not willing to give up, even though his tyres must be dying at this stage of the race. And Cammy's out of the race in the pit lane, no safety car.
Yeah, that's Cammy out of the race. That's down to 11 now. But oh my goodness, Sofian is causing mayhem, and the 3 drivers behind him are going to be praying that he goes to the pits soon with that low downforce setup.
Minister, oh, that's a Williams in the wall there. I think he got a bit happy on the throttle. He's just lost his wing too, for good measure. I don't know if he made contact with anybody, but unfortunately he's lost his wing and he's left the session. That's Cammy's left the session, sorry. But yeah, trips to the pits then is necessary there for Warrior Huntsman, and no safety car deployed. Look at Sofian and Lizana Zero once again then, and here we are into turn number 1. I think she has to play this tactically, you know. She has to get the DRS. No, she doesn't. So Sofian will have DRS again and will overtake her into rest of Potter for sure. Nothing Lizana can do about it. She don't have the straight line speed or the ERS to protect herself against the Sofian. So here comes Sofian.
Here he comes.
The inevitable is going to happen into turn number 4. So I think Lizana Zero needs to find another way past, but I think she's found that.
Wide.
Yeah, he has gone wide. She's found another way past against Sophia, and here we are side by side. But the straight line speed is definitely helping. But can she go around the outside on those beaded compound tyres? She's going to give it a go, and she's done it. Now she's ahead. She has to pull out a 1 second gap over Sophia in these slow speed corners. No time to waste now for Lizana Zero. She needs to build that gap over Sophia in these middle sector.
Yeah, goodness me, and what's that? 6 seconds now to catch Polish man. He's done his teammate a massive favour as Sophia with all that battling, but I think we'll see him peel into the pits now that that fight with Lizana Zero is well and truly over. Now that she's got the much better tyre advantage.
He lost the DRS, but he's gaining it back immediately. Even without DRS, she's gaining a lot of speed on the Alpine. The gap from 1.1 to 8 tenths without DRS on this straight. She might get it. He might get it though into the retro poster to keep himself ahead of Eisen and Jay Hart. Now you can see him going out wide. It's 1 and 2, and you can see the Ferrari all over the back of him now. Sofian, I think he has DRS. No, he doesn't. And you can see the Ferrari side by side, but can't get past despite having the DRS open. Now into turn 4, better contact 2, goes off the track, and Sofian will take P5 away again. And here comes Jay Hart now then, but not fully alongside to make a move either. So they're getting left behind now. Lizana Zero is actually pulling away. She would have loved to do this, by the way, or loved to have done it a few laps ago to get past Sofian and make sure the gap wasn't as big as it is now between Polishman and herself, 5.9. So all that battling has cost her. But Sofian putting his car in the right places, making sure he gets DRS off his rivals, has done him a massive favour. But his tyres are starting to drop off now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's done 11 laps on the soft compound tyres, and yeah, it's going to be hurting him and hurting his race up very, very much so, all this battling and losing a lot of time by not going into the pits. So he's going to be in there soon.
He will be as well. And here comes Sophia. I think Baz has gone for a spin. Did they make contact into on the straight there? I'm not quite sure. There's a bit of movement going on, but Eisen is up into P5. But Willie, though, because you saw Sophia's straight line speed, might get it back into the retro poster. The gap is about 5 tenths. Is 5 tenths enough for Sophia to just blast his way past the Ferrari? Might be, you know. Here comes Sophia, who goes around the outside, but Eisen should have the grip, you know, into turn before he does, and stays in P5 then. So that was crucial to defend the outside. Crucial to defend the inside line. Makes Sophia go around the outside, puts him on the dirty stuff, obviously with his tyres dying too. And here comes Jay Hart now into Ferradora. Good move there, very crucial for him too.
Yeah, Sofian's tyres, they're finished, mate. He's just understeered right out onto the marbles and opened the door right up for Jay Hart now, and he's going to walk straight through that, so thank you very much. And he's now on a charge for P5.
I think that Roden has Polishman covered. The gap was 2.2. I think a few laps ago now it's 3.5. Bearing in mind though, he is on the medium compound tyres. Warrior Huntsman picks up a 3-second time penalty. Apologies about commentary on my side because I am still ill, recovering from a cough, and yeah, I can't get my words out either. Here comes Jay Hart now on the Ferrari. Look at the overspeed he had. Up into P5 he goes into turn number 1. Goes a bit deep though, and also Eisen. This is what I love about Brazil, you know, because you make a move, and also the detection point is right there too for the second DRS zone. And let's see if he gets it back into turn number 4. He should have defended the inside line, but goes to the outside of the racing line. And here we are into turn number 4 then. Both on different tyres. You expect Eisen to make his way through, and he's up into P5 now ahead of the Red Bull. I was about to cough, sorry.
All good. Yeah, in front of the Red Bull is Eisen in P5, and yeah, and that's going to be a frustrating lap for Jay Hartnell. But yeah, he's on the 13-lap old hard tyres. He's going to have the tyre advantage. And one thing I'm noticing here, Jamie, is as I hear you come back, a lot of these drivers are not saving their ERS very much at all. If I was driving this track, I wouldn't want to go much less than 50, 45, 40%. just in case you need it, just to blast faster or to just extend your gap. And yeah, not seeing a lot of ERS management by these guys in the midfield.
And Palmer's got 35%. He's been alone throughout the whole race, so might want to slow down to give some people competition. Jay Hartnell and Sphere at the pits, and also Jay Hartnell on the hard compound tyres has pitted very early on the mediums. Then, so 21 lap on the medium compound tyres. So he's not really extending the stint on the hards to make his mediums much better towards the end. Sofian is in the pit lane to change his wing then, so I'm not quite sure where the damage happened. Maybe at turn 1 with his teammate, or did see him make contact a few times with a few drivers who hit the back of each other, but he's in the pit lane to change the wing. Maybe that's why his straight line speed was great. Baza has retired in the pit lane then, so not good for him because he needs to score points to make sure he's ahead of Lozano Zera, who could score quite a few points. The gap between Polishman and Lozano is 4.3, so the gap was 5.9 like a few laps ago. Now it's 4.2, so Lozano is starting to gain on Polishman.
Yeah, as expected, since the top two in qualifying were had a good 5/10 of the rest of the grid. So yeah, that natural pace is showing through at the moment. But not any on-field battles at the moment. We're in that phase of the race where the pit stops have happened, and yeah, a couple of overcuts. I think Jay Hartnell is definitely one to watch on the fresh medium tyres. The rest of the drivers are on older tyres, so I think he can be closing that gap quite some.
Yeah, indeed as well. And Polishman will have the advantage on Lozano Zera towards the second stint because he'll be on the mediums where Lozano will be on the hards. But still, the crossover between the hards and mediums should be around about now. So I expect the hard compound tyres to be a little bit better than the mediums. The mediums will have still a bit of life in them, but the hard compound tyres should be a little bit better. So if Lozano Zera can do this on the mediums, close the gap down, which is 3.9 now, she could actually see him in the distance into P3, so could see him momentarily. But let's see then how much time she could gain on the medium compound tyres. As Polishman's at Junsao now Lozano Zera is at Junsao, so Polishman will be wary about Lozano Zera. Dat Roland is in the pit lane then to change over to the hard compound tyres, and Palmer just in a world of his own there, doesn't have to do anything. But if a safety car comes out, then it'll be troublesome for him as he put a big gap out.
Yeah, safety car definitely would spice things up. As we the closest on-field battle that we got at the moment is Warrior Huntsman versus CRL Wuban, and yeah, so I think we'll be seeing Wuban, Warrior Huntsman pass Wuban here on the with fresher hard tyres.
Let's see how the strategy unfolds for him then, as he makes his way out of the pit lane. Sofian has set the fastest lap on his brand new set of mediums, as you expect now. Also changed his front wing, so that must help his downforce level. Hence why he was kind of a lot of straight line speed, maybe struggling in the corners with that front wing damage, and had a lot of speed on the straight because obviously less wings more equals less downforce and more straight line speed on the straight as well to go with it. But let's see then what happens. Dat Roland's in P5 in the hards, and currently on course for a podium, but he keeps going in after being in P2 for the majority of the race now. So let's see if he can keep it up. But he knows people are being on his tail like Lozano Zera. Lozano 2.9 now behind Polishman. So the gap was 5.9 when she was stuck in traffic behind Sofian. Now she's gained 3 seconds in the last few laps on the Polishman. So the Polishman will be looking behind him. I think he made a mistake coming out of turn number 2. As I was on board with Lozano. Polishman in the foreground got on the curve at turn number 2, so might have lost a bit of time, you know. But look at his ERS. He's got a lot of ERS at his disposal, so once Lozano catches up, it might not be easy pickings against Polishman with the amount of ERS he has in his disposal.
Yeah, definitely. And further back, we have seen a position change as Sofian now makes a move on Wuban. That's 2 positions in 2 laps. I think Wuban has lost on those 16-lap-old medium tyres. I think you know, with Lozano Zera and Polishman who haven't pitted yet, are we potentially going to see Sofian or maybe Warrior Huntsman or Jay Hartwell pull an undercut on these drivers? Obviously, the tyre deficit will be quite big, but yeah, interesting to see how this plays out. I'm not sure how long you lose in the pit lane here. It is a long old pit lane with the pit lane exit coming out of turn 3 down the straight. So yeah, would be interested to see how this plays out.
I remember Lewis Hamilton back in 2019 doing the overcut, or undercut, sorry, on Max Verstappen back in 2019. Max Verstappen got him back immediately on the straight as well. And 2021 was a great race between Hamilton and Verstappen. A bit controversial too into turn number 4, but Hamilton came out on top ahead of Verstappen. And the undercut is quite powerful, like you said. So let's see if it proves it tonight. But once these guys pit on to a brand new set of whatever tyres, they're much quicker and bring the deficit back down they lost when they stayed out longer. So I'm quite surprised, about. I think it was Warrior. Who was it who pitted quite early on the hardcore power tyres and switched over to the mediums? Because I thought
Jay Hartnell
yeah, it
in
was
the Red Bull there in P6.
pitted quite early. I thought he would have like extended his hardcore power tyres because that's what you want to do. Take the hardcore power tyres is a really good tyre when it gets older as well, and it gets better and better. And also on the medium compound tyres, reducing that stint on the meds, having the best grip towards the end of the race too. So surprised he pitted on lap 14 there. Was it lap 14? No, lap 16. Sorry, it was somebody else. They pitted on lap 14, didn't they? I think I remember that. I'm not quite sure. I'm actually losing it for this.
Jay Hartnell pitted on lap 16, I believe. Since he's only got 4 lap old mediums currently, about to be 5 lap old mediums. So he's going to be doing quite some 20 laps on this set, assuming he doesn't pit again. So yeah, interesting strategy. But only 10 drivers on the grid at the moment, so guaranteed points for these drivers as long as they don't stick it in the wall. So I don't think he'll be worried too much.
Yeah, only 10 runners. Basil Fox, though, might be looking over his shoulders to see what Lozano Serra does. I think Lozano Serra has to win this race now. I think if I get my maths right for once, 169, 141 for Lozano and Baza. So that's 28 points between them. Lozano Serra has to win this race, and I think Palmer has it in the bag, so I don't think Lozano Serra can do anything about P2 in the championship. She'll definitely get P3 because the gap between King Panda and Lozano are only 3 points. But yeah, she lost a lot of points in Imola due to that crash under the safety car. She was leading all of it, but unfortunately that crash definitely cost her. What could have happened tonight if she didn't get tagged into turn number 4? But however, she's more importantly, she's still in the race, and also Polishman's picked up a 3-second time penalty, so it won't do any favours at all towards the end of the race. He's been hunted down by the Spanish driver in P3.
Yeah, that's not going to do him any favours whatsoever. I mean, he's going to go into the pits and he's going to come out on the quicker tyre once him and Lozano Serra do pit. But I'm just looking at the gap here, Jamie. Palmer has 17 seconds to P2. That's I feel like you could go in AI mode and still win a race here.
Yeah, do some donuts do some donuts on the last lap and cross the line and still finish in P1, depending on how much of a big gap he's got. He can afford to do it if he wants to. He's the champion. He don't really, obviously, he wants to win the race, but he's got no pressure whatsoever. He could just have it. Oh, Polishman sliding there, coming out of turn number 11. Lost a lot of time as well towards Lozano. The gap is 1.6, so I've noticed this. Polishman really struggling on those hard compound tyres, whether the setup issue or the track issue, or if he doesn't like the track at all. I'm not quite sure, but look at this then. Lozano is 1.3, so is the pressure starting to get towards Polishman now?
Yeah, I think that was just a lapse of concentration, Jamie. He just seemed to dip his rear left into the grass, which put him into a bit of hassle. Oh, well, that is definitely not going to help Lozano Serra in her bid for the race win. 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. She came in so hot there. But yeah, she's gone on a soft compound tyre there. So yeah, that's a medium soft strategy for her. And well, let's hope for not a late safety car, because that's going to kill her race.
Well, mediums and softs, which I never thought be anticipated during this race, but keep doubting the tyres. The tyres can go longer than I expect. And here we are then, Lozano Serra on the soft compound tyres, so Polishman will definitely have to respond towards Lozano Serra. I think that's a scrub set of softs, because I think she used all the softs during qualifying, so it might be one lap older tyres. It says 0 laps, but we'll see how much we'll see then towards the end of the race. Palmer is in the pit lane then to go onto the softs, I presume, maybe the hard compound tyres, but they went a long way in the mediums. Might as well have gone to soft compound tyres now to take them towards the end and have the best life towards the end too. Still, what, 14 laps to go? I think the soft compound tyres might make it, but judging by Sophia, he had front wing damage, so we never know how long the softs could have gone. Punishman has also got a 5-second time penalty, so that's 8 seconds there for Punishman.
Yeah, soft compounds, whether they'll be any good after 13, 14 laps will be yet to be decided. But of course, you know, we've burned sort of 2/3 of fuel already throughout this race, so they'll definitely make it. They won't be going into puncture territory, but they might be pretty dire towards the end of the race.
And Palmer pitted, rejoined ahead of Dat Ronins on the hard compound tyres, and there's a Red Bull moving out of the way. That's Jay Hart now. I don't know if he moved out of the way or not, but he moved towards the left to defend, and Lizana Zera swooped through and she up into P3. Actually, she undercutted Punishman, and Punishman's dropped into P5, lost a lot of time on those hard compound tyres. Can he make it up though? 1 lap difference between the two, but more importantly, Lizana Zera has track position, whereas Punishman has more ERS at his disposal to try and catch Lizana Zera if we can.
Yeah, definitely, and there was a bit of a lull period during the middle of this race, but now all the pit stops have happened. We're back with a couple of battles, so yeah, let's hope this drive can close up and we can see some more action as we did in the beginning of this race.
Not over for Lizana though if she wants to get on the podium, because she's got a 5-second time penalty over, and obviously if another safety car appears, that'll definitely lose her advantage. But Lizana Zera sets the fastest lap of the race with a 10.1, too far away from Palmer, and if she does catch Palmer, then the 5-second time penalty is over her name anyway. Dat Rollins up the road, he could take those hards towards the end if he wants to. We've definitely seen how the tyres can be stretched around here, so those hard compound tyres can make it towards the end. But the chase is on now between Dat Roland and Lizana. The gap is 30.7 between both teammates, of course. So let's see then, with the early pit stop there for Dat Roland, let's see if Lizana Zera can catch up towards her fellow teammate.
Yeah, and I don't think there'll be too much team orders here. I don't think that's necessary. I would imagine Lizana Zera just to cruise up and make the position. But yeah, I think Palmer is probably on a push up here. He probably wants to get that fast lap as well, but he doesn't manage to do it this time round.
The soft compound tyres are not particularly my favourite tyres at any stage during the race. Maybe with only 5 laps to go, but I'm not really a big fan of the soft compound tyres. Jay Hart now has been overtaken by Punishman. They had their fight coming out of turn number 11, but Jay Hart is in the pit lane again. So 9 lap on mediums. Not going to be a 2-stop, maybe for a change of front wing. Oh, it's a normal standard stop then. So 2-stop is not the way to go. He's lost a lot of time, unfortunately, but have the best tyres towards the end, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting there from Jay Hart. Or maybe he's just having a bit of fun out there. Wants to get a fresh set on and boot some quick laps out as we close the season off. But yeah, so in the midfield, quite some breaks. Our closest on-track battle is Sofian and Aizen in 5 and 6, and well, a couple of penalties as well.
Yeah, indeed, and it's quite hard to commentate with only 10 drivers out there. It was okay in Imola because there was a lot going on, especially when the safety car came out too, and also the inters and dry period. Doing it on my own, it was quite hard too, because obviously I was coughing a lot, but with you here, Kaelin, makes it even better.
Yeah, good to be back. Good to be back for the final race this season, and to watch Palmer take a checkered flag as he is the Tier 4 champion, of course. And we see Eisen now. He's going to have DRS on Sofian, and he's got low battery levels. I feel like Sofian with his low wingers can defend this one as he goes to the outside. And yeah, well, actually, Eisen on that soft compound side just goes down the inside and makes that move stick. So that's a nice one.
I don't think Sofian's actually got the straight line speed, you know, because we saw it during the first stint where he had the straight line speed, maybe due to that broken full wing, which gave him more straight line speed on the straight. But into turn before, maybe I could be wrong, but he changed his wing during the pit stop. I don't know if he's got the same straight line speed he has before that pit stop, but he stays behind Sofian. He stays behind Eisen, sorry, on those soft compound tyres, and I think Eisen will pull away from the Aston Martin driver then in P6.
Yeah, he is, and yeah, I didn't see any damage on his front wing. Maybe he had a bit of a cracked end plate in the beginning of the race, maybe from something at turn 1, perhaps. But yeah, as you say, Yeah, with a broken front wing, of course you're going to have less downforce, so more straight line speed, so that might explain the rocket ship Aston Martin we were seeing at the beginning of this race, Jamie.
Lizana Zero, the gap was 13 seconds behind her teammate, and now it's level point 2. Quago picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, but imagine the scenes there between Palmer and Lizana if Lizana didn't get tagged into turn number 4, and also that 5-second time penalty over her name too. She still needs to pull a gap, but bearing in mind the punishment has 8 seconds towards his name, so Eisen also picks up a 3-second time penalty. She might be safe, you know, but when she catches up to that Roland, if she does, she'll have to pull up a 5-second gap as well over her teammate.
Mm. And yeah, as you say, that there's going to be quite some pace advantage which she's going to need to pull away from these guys with a 5-second time penalty, and any late safety car from now will inevitably destroy her race. Since if she stops, she'll have to serve it, and if she doesn't, she's going to have old tyres with the time penalty hanging over her head. So ultimately, the goal for her is the race win to overtake Bassett in a championship. I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch with Palmer and his gap at the moment, but yeah, certainly P2 for this race is absolutely on. And well, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the battle for the race win with the contact at turn 4, I believe, and well, certainly not what she would have wanted for her final race of the season.
Yeah, indeed, but what a great season though Lizana Zera's had. Like every race she's turned up to, on the podium majority. She's been up there in the top 3 nearly every single race. I think every single race she has been, including the Spanish Grand Prix, because I think she didn't qualify in Spain. I think she did, but validated the last few laps and started all the way back down the field. But in Spain, she was up there in the top 3, but I couldn't exactly remember where she finished because we had about 5 safety cars at the Spanish Grand Prix. You were there, Kaylin, so you definitely remember that one.
Yeah, my memory's not so great, but yeah, I think I do remember that one. I think Mrs. Consistent, what she could be called from here on out. But yeah, a quality driver, a talented one, and yeah, always on the podium. So it's really been a good season for her.
She's not a full-time driver, but yeah, she's P4. Well, before Imola, she wasn't a full-time driver, but yeah, P4 in the championship, looking to get P3 as well. What an incredible season from the Spanish driver. And now the gap's 8.8 between Lizana and Dat Roland, so the gap keeps falling down. Dat Roland, let's have a look at him in P2. Hasn't got a lot of ERS in his disposal though, where Lizana barely got any, but she's got the tyre advantage and the pace advantage so far. The laps left is about 7. So the gap is 8.8, 7 laps to go. Can she close it down? She gained 5 seconds in the last few laps alone, so she's on the charge so far, but how will those softs hold up towards the end?
Yeah, I think she's gonna be struggling. Softs are gonna be 14 laps old towards the end of this race. They're not gonna have anything left in terms of tread, but yeah, they don't think no puncture. She'll be alright. She's not gonna be needing pit stop at any time. But yeah, they're gonna be dying, mate.
Her first race of the season was back at the Japanese Grand Prix, and she took Palmer all the way to the finish line. They went side by side the final 2 corners, and Lizana Zera just pipped Palmer. And at the Australian Grand Prix too, she won against Cyril Palmer in Australia. Oh, that runner made a slight mistake into 1 and 2. He can't afford any mistakes in these corners. These are critical corners. Every single corner you get wrong means Lizana Zera will be catching up then. So Dat Roland cannot afford any slip-ups because in the background, there, coming through turn number 3, she's on the charge against Dat Roland.
Yeah, it's going to be close, mate. But I do worry though with how the soft compound tire will age and how that will affect her ultimate race pace. Since Dat Roland's hards will just be getting better and better from this stage.
I also remember quite a lot of DNS this season from Dat Roland and a few bad races, but luckily he's turned that around. Got a podium last time out at Imola as well. So it's nice to see him on the charge. He's had a difficult season, has Dat Roland, but could be on course for P2 here at Sao Paulo. So changing fortune there for Dat Roland in the Alpine. Maybe having an Alpine teammate like Lizana Zera helping each other too. I don't know how much these two speak between each other. But yeah, Alpine have been on the charge recently, and it's nice to see from both teams. And Dat Roland there, the gap is 7.1. 5 seconds, 5 laps left to go in this race. I think he has Lizana covered. I don't think she has enough to close him down.
Yeah, absolutely. And a special mention to Craig there. I don't think he's gonna want me or want to hear me saying this, but he's just been lapsed there by Palmer, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Craig is another steady driver. A lot of pace on his day. It's not quite come together tonight, but yeah, Craig there. He's had a good season as well, I feel.
Yeah, Craig, especially last year as well, taking a win and a few podiums. But this season, I've looked at the standings. I don't think he has one podium to his name this season. So, but looking to bounce back next season, and we'll see how he does it. Ruben and Warrior Husband are fighting for P8, and Ruben is up into P8 ahead of Warrior Husband, but he goes back down the inside, waiting probably for the DRS. I'm not quite sure if he actually outbroke himself, and he's lost a lot of time as well through turn number 2, and Warrior Husband continues to pull away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, question for you. Who do you think is your driver pairing of the season here in Tier 4?
Well, like teammates.
Teammates, yeah.
Oh, I really don't know, you know.
It is a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think. I think each driver has have their own. I've been in a league of their own so far. Like, there's none that stand out for me, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a difficult one because some have lost their teammates along the way, and some haven't turned up in majority of races as well. McLaren,
Yeah.
I think Bazza and Craig have been there together. They work
Yeah.
really well in Australia together too. But I don't know, mate. I really don't.
Yeah. I'm glad you say that about McLaren, because for me that is my driver pairing of the season, just by the general pace of both of them, how well they work together as a team. I often said to you before in parties, I said Craig and Bazza look like they're talking to each other on track, and when we found out that they don't really converse that often, it was quite surprising for me.
I thought Haas during pre-season were going to be up there, but the misfortunes Verona Flash has and no longer being here. It's just a shame because I really felt like Verona Flash had some decent pace in his Haas, but he just couldn't show it. I think he was just too impatient, made too many mistakes, and if Panda and Flash were there together, I dare say there would have been a great driver lineup in the Haas. I said it during pre-season as well because they were up there, especially the first race this season as well because King Panda won the first race, but he's also had bad luck himself. But might have even more bad luck with Lozano taking P3 away in the championship.
Yeah, that's certainly not what he's going to want, but he's obviously not here tonight to defend that either, so unfortunate for him. And yeah, as you say, did have a strong driver lineup at the beginning of the season. It's not quite clicked. Verona Flash, I remember having a couple of quali bans, a couple of drive-throughs, a couple of spins, a lot of first lap contact, and as well for Palmer, just a bit of misfortune here and there, and it's not helped their bids in the Constructor Championship, but then again, I feel like the general Haas team, myself included, have kind of dropped off of their motivation towards the end of the season. But they'll all be looking to bounce back for. Are we in season 8 at the moment now? So for season 9 for CRL.
Season 9, sorry.
Season 9, yeah. So yeah, I think we had a short season here in CRL, so everybody's going to be looking forward to refreshing and getting their sweat back on and going again for another season.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm glad this season's coming to an end, not just in Tier 4 but in other tiers as well. So yeah, it's just a refresh, a reset, like work everything out and sort the tiers out as well and see what happens. But I noticed I's been on charge recently. He's currently putting punishment under pressure, and we make our way into turn number 4 on the Retro Poster Straight. Punishment being make contact there, but let's see if they make it out of skate. A bit more contact too for good measure. And Punishment stays in P4 for the time being then. So Eyes has been on the charge recently. Got past Jay Hartnell, got past Sofian, and now he's putting pressure on Punishment in P4. Bear in mind though, he's picking up an 8-second time penalty due to speed in the pit lane and exceeding track limits as well. I presume Eyes has only got the 3, so he doesn't have to fight too hard, but obviously he wants to win it on track. He does have a 3-second time penalty, does Eisen, so we'll finish in P4, and he's putting massive pressure on Punishment. There's 2 laps left to go in this race then. So Palmer, who's led every single lap, and we've barely seen him so far during this race. It's been a quick race, you know, despite only 12 drivers out there. But yeah, the season will be coming to an end very shortly in a 2 laps time, and let's see if Palmer does donuts before the line. He's got 18 seconds to do it. So let's see if he can do it or not.
I really hope he does. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be disappointed in him. I hope that he hears this as well. Palmer, if you got 17 seconds, please do a couple of donuts across the finish line. That would be great entertainment for us. But mate, it's surprising. Yeah, as you said, no safety cars. It's surprising how quick the laps have ticked by here for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
And these two continue their scraps, but Polishman has dropped to P5. It's a shame for him though, because he was running the podium paying positions, was Polishman, but unfortunately he's dropped into P5. So he lost a lot of pace though, because his teammate did him a massive favour in Sophia and holding up that bunch of cars behind him when he starts on the soft compound tyres. But this time round, they're P5 and P6 are Polishman and Sophia. And Aston Martin have had some decent results this season, especially with Sophia gaining that win at the at the Canadian Grand Prix ahead of Bazza Fox as well. I scored a few podiums along the way. Craigo picks up a 3-second tablecy. Warrior Huntsman picks up a 3-second tablecy. So just abusing the chat limits there. But I think the battles are done and dusted unless Polishman can get Eisen back. I want to keep an eye on Palmer though, because it is the last lap of the season. But as we head into turn number 1, is he close enough to make a lunge? I think he needs to set himself up into turn number 4 for this Polishman, if he wants to try and win P4 on the track, because he can't do it because of penalties unless Eisen makes a mistake somewhere. But Palmer, here he is then. Do some donuts. Somebody tell him to do some donuts before the line. Polishman has got back ahead of Eisen, but more importantly, I want to keep an eye on Palmer if I can. Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. Here we are then, Palmer. I think you need to do it towards the finish line just in case you get jumped. He hasn't run out of fuel, just to make sure I'm clear. But here we are then. Slow down right now. Come on, Palmer. Come on. Do some donuts. Do some donuts. Here we are then.
Go on.
No, he's not. You disappointment. Absolutely disappointment. You disappointment, man. Come on.
He's Max Verstappen's it. He's done a little burnout across the line. He's done something, but no donuts there for our serial Tier 4 champion.
Oh, what a disappointment. Look at these two. They're close together. So let's have a look at Polishman and Eisen. And here we are then. Can he slipstream him towards the line? Is he too far back? Here we go. He's just too far back for the time being. We'll get a P4 on the track due to penalties. Lozana Zera in P3 from spinning out at turn 4, coming back to finish in P3. Trying to hunt down Dat Roland, but I think Dat Roland's tyres and pace was much better towards the end. And Dat Roland, you can't stop leaving the session, man. You did this last time round, because it jumbles up the results.
Yep, that's gone down as a DNF, hasn't it? So that's going to put him to P10. But yeah, I've let Palmer know that we have been disappointed and outraged by the lack of donuts here in the final race of Tier 4. He tried doing a burnout, he said.
Couldn't even do that. But the season is done and dusted here in Cone. Oof, best race this season? I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, not sure. Only 10 finishers, but you can expect that sometimes as the season comes to an end. But it's been a great scene. It's been a lot of fun commentating here as well.
Yeah, it has been, mate. I've really enjoyed the season, despite having a few drivers towards the end of the season, because we lost quite a few. Mazzles has gone as well, Ross, all of them, Temple, just all those drivers we had at the beginning have all gone.
Fair play to him. As yeah, good race. I think Lozana Sarah didn't quite get to overtake that Roland. Although on the graphic here it says that she's P2, she will not be, since that Roland will have his position reinstated. But yeah, decent race.
And thank you, KXI, for trying to commentate with me throughout the season. I know you've been busy, and that's fair enough, mate. And also spending time with your girlfriend rather than with me. But every time you've commentated this season, I've enjoyed it, mate. Me
too. It's been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot as well. And confidence has grown throughout the season. What was it, a 15 race season? I think I did 10 with you, perhaps, maybe 11.
There's only been I think there's only been 12 races this season on the calendar.
Only 12? Okay, maybe it's only like 8 then. I missed a few holidays as well, so Yeah, no.
Lizana Zero said, I mean, Palmer said, what happened to you, Lizana? And Lizana Zero said, guys around here touching my butt more than Kevin does. Oh. Oh,
Uh,
what a response from Lizana Zero. Classic response from her. But still kept calm and composed despite guys touching up the rear end. But luckily she came back on the podium, finishing P3.
yeah, fair play. Absolutely nobody likes being touched in the rear end. So that's so it's quite a statement. But yeah, no, good race overall.
We'll round it off then. Tier 4 and Tier 3 will be done and dusted very short. Well, Tier 3, or Tier 4 and Tier 5 will be done and dusted for this season on Monday. And also, join me back for Tier number 1 for the Brazilian Grand Prix for the final round of the season in Tier 1. The championship is wrapped up with G. Russell, but Cameron Dowd's making an appearance here. Can he win 3 times in a row? Let's see. We'll find out on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Tune in then, and whoever will be my co-commentator, hopefully they'll enjoy it as well. So we'll see you all later. And thank you, Kenan, once again, mate.
Thank you, Jamie. It's been a pleasure. Ciao, ciao, all.